Hi.
Hey,
Hey, Bridgette.
what's up?
Not much, Same shit, different day. I have you here to talk about Drake's dick.
Oh, I saw it.
Impressive, right?
It was
Have you seen his dick, Mike?
No, I didn't actually look.
Oh, is that nice?
Yeah,
Yeah. Drake's dick leaked on the internet. Huge dick.
Impressive?
Very long dick. I mean, which doesn't surprise me.
They're saying it's skinny, but it does not look skinny.
I think it's just so long that people want to. And you know what's funny is like the white guys at my work are just haters. Like literally one of them's like, I'm like, did you guys see Drake's dick? I'm all excited about it. I'm like, Drake's dick. He's the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
His dick's out, and it's
Yeah.
huge. And by the way, no surprise. He walks around like he has a 10-inch dick. I mean, it's like, no shit, he's got a 10-inch dick. There was nothing surprising about it. My coworker's like, he probably got that surgery to make it bigger.
Like, for real?
Swear to God. And I was like, you're literally just hating. He's like, no, I'm saying. He's like, I'm not saying I got the biggest dick in the world. I'm like, I know you're not saying that. You're being a hater, though, to not be like he has a natural, huge, long dick.
He didn't get surgery.
No, of course
No.
not. He just happens to have a long dick. I'll be honest. He wasn't the hottest in the video because it's like the little video. Did you watch the video?
I watched it, but I didn't see anyone else.
I just didn't. No, I didn't either. I'm just saying he wasn't like.
Oh, he didn't look that hot.
Yeah. His movements weren't the sexiest in the world, but that's me being a hater, probably.
I thought it looked good.
Yeah. I mean, the dick looks great. I think the dick's great. It was just kind of like the way he was jacking it at the end that kind of threw me off, At the very end there.
He was on his jet.
Oh, was he?
I think so.
Oh, I think that makes your dick look bigger. If you do a dick video on a jet, you're gaining inches for sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me though one bit. I mean, that guy, you can't lose with a dick that big. And you know what else is funny too? The white guys, they want, not all white people obviously, but it just always happens to be white guys who are just like, and women don't even like that, like they Mike, you've heard it though, right? Yeah. So people do the like, it would hurt, they don't. They're actually my wife told me she's not even into that,
Okay.
Yeah. I know.
Okay.
Well, that's what's so funny about it. It's like because you can't handle the truth, buddy, because that's usually what it is. It's like, oh, you're just too insecure to hear that. Yeah, that's
She
a
would
nice
like
day.
that.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not saying that the bigger the better. It doesn't always equal that.
Not necessarily.
It's what's attached to it. It's the person. It's how you're using it. It's all these things. But like, yeah, like as a general rule of thumb, big is good. So it's just so funny when guys are just like, honestly, it seems like more of a hassle than anything. You got to carry it around all day. I'll tell you what, the one downside to I hear having a big dick is that you don't get to do anal as much, because you got a big old dick.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So Drake's probably not. Well, I'm gonna be honest. They're probably gonna let Drake do whatever he wants.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So he's probably not having any issues actually
Probably not.
whatsoever
No,
with
none.
putting his dick anywhere
Anywhere
in
he
anyone.
wants.
I'd let Drake fuck me. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Speaking of fucking.
Get right into it.
Yeah. So I got you on here because I am a weirdo and I like anything that like is a statistical abnormality. So even if it's not like abnormal to me, things that are like not that common,
Outside of the box.
Yeah, that challenge the status quo a little bit.
Yeah.
I like that type of shit. I'm like really attracted to all of those ideas. And one of them that you and I have talked about is your open relationship that you're in.
Yeah.
So that's neat, and I'd like to talk to you about it.
Let's do it.
So you're married.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys are in an open marriage.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people don't know a lot about open marriages, right? Because I did, and I was asking you all kinds of questions. I find it so intriguing because most of the time when I hear open marriage, I think either like freaks, like just like blue-haired trans people, or I think of like old leathery swingers.
Yeah.
That own boats, that are always owning boats for some reason.
Well, a lot of them do.
I'm saying it's
That's
something
true.
about boats and leathery tits and swingers go hand in hand. But so it was interesting to get to meet you and know that like there's some. I mean, you're weird, but
A little bit.
yeah, no, and like actually though, like. You have a family unit, you're a mom, you're a wife, you're not like a weirdo. It's not like
I'm normal.
Yeah. No one would meet you and be like something's up with her. Like the thing. They probably think like something's up with her in a good way. Like you're thinking different because you're kind of wired like a guy. No,
Little bit.
Well, my thing about that, so open marriages or open relationships in general, to me. I guess the reason I find it so attractive is because I feel like, well, as a man, right, I can only speak for me, or as a Justin, really, right? Because I'm not speaking for all men. I have no idea what these guys are up to. I'm just saying, for me, there's always been something in me that wants sexual novelty, right?
Yeah.
And I think that all human beings are wired that way, but I do believe more so men, like, or they feel it more or something, or maybe it's the testosterone or whatever. But like, I find it very interesting to meet women who are also that way, because I think that a lot of women just don't speak up about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I always felt like that.
Felt like what?
Like sexual novelty was something
Was
I was,
lit.
yeah, interested in.
Yeah, of course. And I think that that's super just normal. And I think that. And again, let's start by doing some disclaimers, right? We're not out here telling anybody how to live, or that there's a right or wrong way to do things. This might not work for people. This might work for people. We're not telling you what to do. I just feel like for a lot of people, it's like a lot of people, will get into a monogamous relationship and then sign up to only have sex with that person for the rest of their lives. And to me, that just sounds kind of crazy.
Because that's what we're told we're supposed to do.
Well, that's the thing too, and yeah, so people don't even know why they're doing that. You know, it's like people are doing it because that's what other people do, and then when you ask them why they wouldn't ever consider open marriage, because a lot of times it's like, no way, I'm not I'm not sharing, what's mine, and it's like, it almost always comes down to jealousy, insecurity, or possessiveness. No.
Yeah, well, like you said, I'm not sharing what's mine,
right?
And it's like.
It's not yours.
Yeah, it's not yours. Like, you don't think that about your friends.
No.
Like, your friends are
this is an individual.
Yeah.
And the body that, either evolution or God or Stardust or whatever you believe in gave her. And you're telling her or him how to use that,
Yeah, you're mine now.
Yeah, it seems very, and again, it's not like a super pejorative or an attack at people, an ad hominem. It's like, this is normal for monogamy. Normal, healthy, monogamous relationships have that sense of possessiveness and jealousy, and
for sure.
And again, it's not like this super terrible thing, like you're a bad person because of it. This is normal monogamy. My mom, everyone around me. It's just like everyone who's in a regular monogamous relationship. Usually, it comes down to insecurity, fear. It's always fear. It's like fear of being left, fear of abandonment, fear of.
Well, I think another thing is, like, we never question it. Like, maybe sometimes you don't actually feel like that, but you don't take the time to question, like,
right.
Well, how do I really feel about this?
Yes. And this is what's so cool about these open relationships, as I've been learning about them slowly. It's like, they're like snowflakes. There's no two alike.
Oh, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? But the cool thing about that there's no two alike is it implies that you can set it up exactly how you want. And that's just so beautiful to me, because it's like, when you're not setting it up exactly how you want, you're, like you said, you're just following other people's rules.
Yeah.
You're just doing what the other people have done. And sometimes, like you said, you don't even know why.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, no. And then when you actually start to question them and you go, okay, well, why? Well, what if this or what if that? And, a big thing is like, what if you get an STD, right? And it's like, valid question,
So that's the beautiful thing about having an open relationship, is it opens up this whole box of, like, questions and communicating that, like, we're still getting to things that we never would have.
Right, I bet. And that's why it seems more authentic to me. Right?
Yeah.
It's more authentic to me as a person, I can tell you that, because I know how I'm wired. It's like, I used to be a cheater, right? And now I'm just honest. And a lot of times people conflate, like, infidelity with an open marriage, which I can't stand. But they're so used to it being the same thing. So it's like, people get this nasty feeling in their gut when they think about an open marriage, because they're thinking of infidelity. They're thinking of betrayal. They're thinking of
like
lies.
equating that.
Equating it to this deceit. But when you break it down, it's not that.
Really
it's
not.
the opposite.
Yeah.
And I think that, honestly, it's like, it's more battle tested. Because people, so the STI thing. So I've found that people in the lifestyle, people call it the lifestyle, by the way, the LS.
I hate that.
Oh, it's so gay. The LS. So people in the LS, everyone, again, has different rules and does things differently, but it breeds this level of honesty.
Yeah.
I hate to use the word breed.
That's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, right. It cultivates this level of honesty, I feel, where it's like, most people are wearing a mask around their partner. They don't feel comfortable saying the things they can say around their boys, right? They don't feel comfortable, because you're wired to look at the ass. If a hot ass walks in the room, you're wired to look at the ass. It's like, God wired me this way. You want me to disrespect God and listen to you? you know?
Yeah.
And I think that it seems more authentic in that way. And
well, and with the STDs, like people in the lifestyle are getting tested more than.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Yeah.
The people that are in the lifestyle, it's super common to be like, not only are you tested, let me see your test.
Yeah.
Like, it's a common thing for people to be like, let me see your test and still use protection.
Like, we're talking about it.
Yeah, it's a disgust.
Yeah.
And when it's infidelity, right? God forbid you get caught with a condom. So don't even have them.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
So don't have them. So what are you risking then?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that's the weird thing about it, right? It's like when it's talked about, when it's honest, when it's this is what it is. It just feels so much more authentic, you know, to be able to it's like you're dating your best friend, I'm sure. You know, in a way, because most of the time there's all these just like weird, hidden, unspoken things. And I think that in a poly relationship, I think that are you poly? There's like polygamy and polyamory.
Okay, so
and
polygamy, I think, is like one husband with multiple wives. That's like a religious thing.
Oh.
Polygamy. Yes,
Okay.
polygamy.
I thought polygamy was sex with more than one partner, not necessarily at once. And then I thought polyamory was love with more than one partner.
No, polygamy is like a religious like thing. Polyamory is being open to loving more than one person.
And having sex with more than one person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's like E&M where you're just ethically not monogamous.
Ethically non-monogamous.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, how we started. Yeah.
E&M.
Yeah. That's how we would categorize it.
Still?
Probably not still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what you categorize it now?
It's probably like between E&M and polyamory.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's cool too. Is it like, how long have you been in the LS?
Years. So
Years.
Like, yeah.
And it's probably changed a lot over the years.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Another thing that like you and I've talked about is like that when sometimes you can tell when a couple they're not both enthused to the same level.
Oh yeah.
Which I think can happen a lot, right? Like one person brings it up and the other person's like, I mean, yeah. Either I would bet that, you know, a guy brings it up, hey, I want to, most of the time, I would guess. A guy's like, hey, I'd like to maybe, you know, fuck somebody else, you know. I'm sure he says it with a little more couth and class, but I would assume that a lot of times the woman either is like, no, absolutely not, and then thinks about it and says, okay, and doesn't really want to, or even convinces herself that she does want to, or that could happen in reverse as well. It's not necessarily a gender thing, but I'm sure that you can tell, right? You guys have met couples when you can tell there's like one person into it.
Yeah, I think you can tell. Although we haven't really come across that a whole lot.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'm good at vetting.
Okay, right. Because in my head, that's got to happen a lot in my head. And then another thing is like, a lot of people don't realize how prevalent it is. You know?
Yeah.
Like this is the first time you're really talking about it.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Thank
But
you.
it's like there's this. Well, female sexuality is demonized always has been. It still is to this day. It's insane, especially the hypocrisy and the double standards. You know, any guy can say he wants two women. A woman says she wants two guys, and she's a whore. She's a slut. How dare her? But it's just like, and then a lot of them are so beaten down by society's standards that they don't even think about it. Like they genuinely won't even entertain
it's
the
so
idea.
repressed.
It's so repressed and so taboo and naughty that they won't even let themselves think about it. Akin a little bit to the open relationship. People don't even like to think. People, it's like, have you ever given it an honest thought? Like you said, not for you. Have you ever really given it thought?
About open relationships?
Like really?
Yeah, so my problem is like, the whole thing with settling down is just that for me. It would be settling down so I don't have to go out on the prowl, like trying to find someone to come home with me or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you're taking a sedentary lifestyle and turning it into a hunting lifestyle. So I was thinking about, like, you really would need two hunters to come together for this to work. Otherwise...
Yes, and that's what I mean with the level of
The
enthusiasm.
other problem is the woman is always going to, like, rule this territory. Like, you
Of
could
course.
leave the
yeah.
house and be like, I'm getting laid today. And
Yes,
it's gonna happen.
women are in charge of sexual selection. The females
just
in
how it
society.
is.
Yeah,
That's a
So-
whole nother
Yeah.
topic.
A lot of issues. I think,
yeah, but you have
with
thought
that.
about it.
Oh, a bit.
Okay.
But like,
Yeah,
my
because
thing is,
a lot of people haven't actually examined it. You know.
Yeah. So one thing I do want to say though about like the communication, thankfully, like we had that communication and like we always did, my husband and I.
Just like what? Is it open, honest, authentic communication?
Not to this extent, but yes, like for us to feel safe to even bring it up.
Yes,
like, hey,
that's
would you?
huge.
Yeah, like a lot of people aren't even there.
And that speaks a lot. And that's something else I wanted to get into, like the work.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't even know that there's work, right? They're just like thinking they can fuck other people.
Right, yeah.
And it's such a small, closed-minded way of thinking about it. And a lot of people are just ignorant to it. So like there's work that's involved, right? Like I remember finding out that there's jealousy involved.
Yeah.
I just assumed that people that are in an open relationship
just don't experience
jealousy. And
yeah.
I just thought like, wow, I wish I could be that evolved. You know, like imagine not getting jealous. And it's like, you were like,
yeah, no. It's a normal human emotion everyone
right.
feels. Yeah.
And it's not unhealthy to feel it.
Yeah, no.
But you need to take that up with who?
Yourself.
With yourself. So that's the thing. It's like when you know, if I feel jealousy towards something, right? And
okay, hold on. First, let's talk about the difference between jealousy and envy. Do you know the difference?
Envy is wanting to be someone, and then jealousy is...
Yeah, envy is like wanting something that someone else has. And jealousy is like you have something and it feels threatened.
Gotcha. I think that more often it's the latter, the jealousy one, right?
Jealousy.
I think that more often, because basically like, so.
I wouldn't say more often.
No?
No, I'd say it's pretty even. Like, I think we just mix up the two a lot.
I'm sure. I think that either one of them come back to insecurities and fears.
Well, envy for sure. Envy for sure. That's thinking like you lack something and you want something that someone else has. Jealousy could be that one of your needs or more are not being met.
Well, that's different. That seems to me like justified. I mean, let's say I'm in an open relationship and the woman goes out and we're new into it, and I feel like jealous that some guy is with her. You know, it's like
getting her time.
Yeah, not so even much the time, because the time I get, that's another thing too. It's like if you're in an open marriage and 90% of your time is spent on that hunt or on that prowl, and like your energy and time are being taken away from your partner, that's an understandable gripe and something that should be discussed. I think that's what's interesting about the polyamory specifically, which is the possible to have like an emotional connection with multiple people, is people think there's like this finite amount of love, right?
Yeah.
So like, here's your love, and it's like they think that if you're giving this much love to this person, then you can only give this much to the other person.
To give. Yeah.
But it's like you have this much love everywhere you go.
Like
right?
think about if you have many kids.
Exactly. Perfect analogy, right? You don't just like, oh, I'm running out of love. I can't have any more kids.
Last one gets, or gets none.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm all out. It's and now again though, if it's like too much of your time and energy, that's different. Then it's understandable, because then you only have the capacity to love. You don't have the capacity to show it all to the person. So, and those are things that you need to talk about with your partner. I just feel like, again, because it's more honest. My coworker, I asked him if he would have any questions for somebody in an open marriage, and he said that what if he's like, what if she's having sex with somebody and they're way better at it than me? and it's a valid thought, right? And you know what I told him?
What did you say?
I said, good for her. You know what I mean? Because what you didn't say it out loud, but what you're implying is my wife can never have better sex than me for the rest of her life because I'm at this level. That doesn't make any sense. That's like that's rude almost. It's like that's rude to be like, you can never get better dick than me ever. And it's
rude.
Like it low key is. It low key is rude to me.
That's a hard one though. That's hard.
What?
Like to grapple with.
As a man
or a woman.
Right, if the woman's better.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, you're not going to be the best.
You're not.
How do you? So you can't be the best at sex. It's like I would expect you to find someone better, and then someone goes, well, what if you fall in love? What happens if you fall in love?
And
then what? How does that
then
work?
You fall in love.
Right.
I mean, it's like you just said, like I feel like most people probably have the capacity to love more than they think.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And then there's the argument that like, and there's a law of diminishing returns. Again, if you're loving 500 people at once, it gets tough, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard that like, your capacity to love is almost increased if you love more than one person.
Yeah.
It's not only that it doesn't take away, it actually can enhance the primary one. Which is just such a neat concept to me. And it's like, the coworker asked, okay, well, what if they get with someone and they're way better than you, and then that person wants to steal them away from you, right? And I said, well, that's a very real concern. However, if someone is wanting to steal, or he said for me, like, let's say I'm in a relationship with someone and I decide to fall in love, then I want to steal that person. It's like, well, I was like, well, I don't. And if I did, I would need to step away or like reevaluate it and talk about it. You know what I mean? It's not something that's like that. Those are nefarious. Like to me, those are ulterior motives. You know what I'm saying? Like, because loving someone doesn't mean wanting to steal them and keep them. Like low key, it's like wanting to keep someone and then setting up your life to keep them are different. Like one's almost controlling, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, it's one thing to say I want to keep you in my life. It's another thing to be like, I'm setting it up to where you don't have any other options.
Yeah.
Which people do.
Yeah. And that can happen in monogamous relationships too.
Oh, for sure.
So like, it's not like monogamy does not protect you.
No, and I'd say, in fact, you know, when it's hidden and not talked about, there's a higher chance for that, right?
Exactly.
Because then way higher chances, like, because then you're not even a part. You don't even know. You don't even know what's going on. So then there's like this huge other thing that's not being spoken and not being said that that's just obvious, you know. And
but in this, we are opening the door.
You're definitely playing with fire a bit more than people who aren't in an open relationship. It's like, can someone be stolen from you? Yes. Is it more likely if they're out having sex with people? Yes.
Yeah.
However, I would argue again that one is more authentic. One is more real. Sure. It's like, it's not just that you're choosing to be with me. It's that you have all the options in the world and you're still choosing to be with me. Yeah. That's fucking beautiful. That's you know, it's like, that's, you know, a lot of times it's like a wife doesn't even want her husband looking at someone, you know, and it's like, well, that's fine, but that's not real.
Yeah.
You're not even giving him a choice. He loves you because you're making him love you. It's like that. And again, it gets to a point like, don't be disrespectful. Don't walk around like a pig. You know, don't be a dog piece of shit that you are, because I know you are. But, you know, you can do it with class and respect. And I think that people also think that, like, you know, I don't want my wife at the corner bar getting gangbanged, you know? And it's like, I hear you. Some people are cool with that. Some people aren't. But that's something that you would discuss. Yeah. It's something that you could say, you know, I don't want you being with my friends, or I don't want you being at the...
setting those boundaries and
setting
agreements.
Those boundaries and doing the work. Like, you guys have been places, like, to workshops and shit. Can you talk about that? Like, that's super cool to me. Like, it's again, people don't know that there's work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. So there's, I mean, a lot of people doing this that offer, like, peer
There's so many people doing this, by the way. People right now, wherever you're listening to this, in your workroom, whatever the fuck, in your office, there's people in there.
I'm sure you know someone.
That's what I'm saying.
That's doing it.
And again, it's such a repressed thing and suppressed, and it's frustrating because it's like people can't really live out loud because of the people's preconceived notions about it, right?
Yeah.
It's like people are so quick to sign it off because it's abnormal. Like, oh, that's not the norm. They're freaks. They're the sex freaks. You know what I mean? And it's not like that. Like, you're just a person. Yeah. You know? And it's not even like it. Like,
well, we are sex freaks.
Yes, but not overtly. You know, not to someone from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And you know, you guys are raising a family, and like, you guys are regular people, great people, and it's like, you know, it's just good to know that it's not all just like 20-year-old trans people trying to do this. You know what I mean? Or like.
Or 75-year-old swingers in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like, more power to them too, you know? Do your thing.
Sure.
And again, it's not for everyone, for sure. I don't even know if it's for me, right? It's like, I love the idea of it. And it's like, I think to put all of the responsibility onto one person, right? So this partner that you choose, not only is the only dick you're going to suck for the rest of your life, right? Not only that, they need to be your emotional support. You know, they need to be financially capable. They need to be a good father. They need to be a good partner. They need to know how to fix things.
Like to do the same things for fun.
Oh, that's another thing, right? Let's say, you know, you like hiking, but your partner doesn't. Get you a partner who does. It's like, maybe one partner likes Netflix, one partner likes hiking. Don't drag the one who doesn't want to go fucking hiking out into the woods.
Yeah. Well, people would say, well, get friends for that. You don't have to like fuck them.
But. Yeah, but I want to fuck them.
Yeah.
The thing is like, my friends won't suck my dick like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe I would want friends. Maybe I want to have sex with them.
Exactly. And it's nice to know that it's not just like I don't know. From the outside looking in, it's like, it's almost like when you think of when I used to think of open relationships, I would just think like as a mom or as a wife, like throughout your day, you're just like in latex, like leather, like, you know, like.
That's what you thought?
Yeah, not exactly, but just like, it was like sex parties every weekend, you know, it was like because people will say, what about the kids? What about the kids? Yeah, Aren't they going to be confused?
Oh.
How can you tell them? And it's like, you mean the truth? To me, it's the same people who are like, how do you explain to the kids that, you know, there's gay people, they're just too young. It's like, well, just tell them the truth.
I want my kids to know that there are options.
Well, right. That's another difference is like, don't preach to them one way or the other that this is the way you should do it, right? Just because you're, choosing to do something. And again, you're choosing to do something right now. It wasn't always this way. It might not always be this way, right? Things are fluid. And I just think it's important to let your kids know, hey, you can set up your relationship however you'd like. However you'd like.
Monogamy, non-monogamy. There are options.
And the thing about, have you heard people say the E&M thing is the ethically non-monogamous? People have an issue because it implies that non-monogamy is unethical. Which I do get. And that, again, comes into the thing of like, there's a lot of people who are still cheating. I'm on that app. There's there's lots of apps for people in the LS. There's one called Field. I know you're checking it out right now. It's free. FEELD. Free plug. But it's bizarre. It's like 95% gargoyle looking people. Oh my God. It's fucking. I'm sorry. It's fucked up. But there are some like diamonds in the rough on there.
There really are.
And I will say that there's like a lot of acronyms that it was so hard to learn. Oh my God, dude. There's a big difference between an MFM and an MMF.
Oh yeah, I did not know that.
Which is like funny because it's the same 3 letters.
Just a
different
little
orientation. Now hear me again. There's a big difference between an MFM and an MMF.
So think about who's in the middle.
Think about what letters you're putting next to each other.
Okay.
Yeah. So the MMF is where the guys are fooling around.
Yeah.
You could either be, which by the way, hetero flexible. I put someone on this app recently and they texted me. They're like, what is hetero flexible? I'm like, oh, that means gay. Like everything she said, she's like, what does this mean? I'm like, that means gay. It's just like, what does this mean? I'm like, oh, that means gay. That means secretly gay. That means outly gay. It's like, yeah, basically everyone's gay, But, the MMF is, 2 males and a female, but where the males can fool around and whatever level that is, they decide.
Like the male's the center of it. So from the male and the female.
Right. And the males are next to each other, which to me meant that the guys are fucking around, You got to separate the M's with the F if you're doing like a completely hetero.
Yeah.
If you're doing a completely hetero threesome, which I actually have done. And I wanted to talk about that because a lot of people, again, the thing about, a woman being with 2 men, it's like, it's hot as fuck. And
do you know how many women have said to me, never?
Oh, yeah.
Like so many women are just like, no.
Do they know why? It's usually probably because of like these false narratives and these standards and like, how will I be looked at? That's slutty. Growing up as a girl, it's like that's the worst thing you can say about her, Oh, she's a whore, she's a slut, she got gangbanged, this, that, or the other, and it's so fucked up.
I think another thing is that a lot of women are brought up that they are there for the man's pleasure.
Right.
And so the thought of them their own pleasure or the thought of them being the center of the pleasure is really...
Yeah. What I tell people to ease them into the MFM threesome, because I'm trying to get everyone to do it.
Everyone?
Yeah. What I do is I say, like, have you ever been having sex with your girl and, like, put your 2 fingers in her mouth, And they're like, yeah. I'm like, kind of hot, right? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, she thinks it's hot too. And I can't even explain that. So it's not even necessarily the hotness of the 2 men, right? It's just like, we're talking physically, right? Biology wise, like that has to feel good. Not to mention those holes are connected. You can't tell me no different. It's like a fucking Chinese finger trap. But I think there's something like inherently hot about it. I think most guys fantasize about 2 women, which duh. I still, before I die, I want to have someone sucking my dick and someone sucking my balls and someone eating my ass at the same time. Genuinely sorry, Mom, turn it off. If I that is what I want to have before I die. It's like on my bucket list.
It's gonna happen.
I know it has to.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's gonna have to. But I only had a threesome with 2 girls when I was like maybe 21. Everyone was drunk. It was fine, right? It was like, it was fuzzy because I was drunk and we're all young, we're all 3 young, your early 20s, drunk, it was tough, but it was fine. And then I had a threesome with a guy and a girl. So I've had both kinds of threesomes and they were both around that same age. So because of that, just inexperienced, sloppy, not great, not evolved, not like, nothing great. And then I had one, like within like the past year, honestly, and it was like fire. It was fire. It was like, I met this married lady and, I went up and I met her husband and her husband was cool. My thing was, I was so worried about, so I can't not sound judgy, but like,
okay.
I'm worried about like super cucks, right? Because like when I hear a married couple wanting to have a threesome with a single guy, which is called like a bull, I guess.
Yeah.
And then a single female is like a unicorn because they're rare. I don't know all the fucking terms, but I was just worried that I'm skittish around men. Like I'm a big energy person. I just am, right? I pick up on energies. A lot of guys either try to big dog, which I can pick up on and don't like. Like, I don't challenge me. I do not like it.
Yeah.
And then, or the opposite, right? Where they're like fully cucked, right? Where they're like, I want you to smack me in my face while you're fucking her,
Tell me I'm a piece of shit.
Right, as you're fucking her. Yeah. And it's like, I've never done that. So I was a little worried that it may be like that, but.
No shame.
No, not at all. Not at all, for sure. No kink shaming. Unless as long as we're talking about consensual adults, none of you fucking pervert pedophiles trying to make that a thing. What do they? You know what they call that? A minor attracted adult or something. They call it. Yeah, they're trying to fucking change the name. It's like, dude, you're a pedophile.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Pedophiles? Oh no, the threesome. Yeah. It was like it was super hot to me. They had done it before, and it made me feel very comfortable because I hadn't really. Like I said, I did it once when I was younger, but I think that's another thing, like the threesome game and the threesome world and the orgy world, like there's a lot of different energies going on.
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge potential for it to be awkward. Like, so it wouldn't have surprised me if it were awkward. And the fact that it wasn't was just like incredible.
Yeah.
I actually plan on doing another one, believe it or not.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys ever do the parties and shit? You ever do like the sex parties? What's that like? Because I've never been to a sex party, but I definitely want to go.
Crazy.
Really? Now, how do you find out about them? Like, okay, so hold on. Okay, so let's back up a bit.
Yeah.
When you first get into this, you guys talk about it, whoever brings it up, and then you guys decide you're going to do it.
Yeah. So, like, personally, yeah. So we were always just, like, open with talking about all these things, and we felt safe.
Fat. Sorry.
No, you look good. So, yeah, we just felt safe talking about all these things, and fantasies were brought up, and so it was just like...
And like you said, you have to be so comfortable already.
Yeah,
to
even discuss that. And then it's like, for us personally, I think an organic situation just happened, and
cool. So you guys were having talks about it. Something came up and it was like a chance to tackle it. Let's do it. Let's grab the bull by the horns.
Yeah, basically. And after that it was like, this is for us.
Oh, cool. Because you really don't know, right? Like, you can talk about it all day and then try it and go, hey, that wasn't for us.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure a lot of people do.
And I think we did talk about the apps like before that situation, and I was really weirded out.
About the app?
About the apps, yeah.
Did you check them, and that's why?
I did.
Okay. I didn't know if you were weirded out about the idea or them, because they are weird as fuck.
Both, but I don't even remember the specific app, but I looked on it and I was like, fuck no, basically.
Yeah. It's jarring. And I've heard, especially for a woman, and you're not the ugliest one I've ever seen. So, like, not the ugliest woman, I'm sure it's just like, I'm sure it's overwhelming. That's what I've heard.
It was, and it was too much at that time for me.
I bet.
It was just like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Because my question was basically, it was going to be like, how do you find out? Like, how do you find the other people? Right?
Yeah, so that's the way, basically.
That's right.
So after that,
because you can't just bring, in the elevator.
So after that one like organic situation, my husband was like, "That's never gonna happen again. Like, it doesn't just happen organically like that." So yeah,
we should set this up.
You got to like look at the apps, and so Tinder was where we started.
Yeah. And then like, how long are you into the lifestyle before you feel comfortable enough going to like an event or a party? And is there a difference between an event and a party?
I think so. I think like, the parties could just be like, I throw a party at my house and invite all my couple friends. So like a little private thing. I gotcha. Yeah. And then there's like events, like big events in
now,
DC
do they have like
Virginia
booths and shit, or like just rooms where people are fucking? What is the events like?
At the events.
People getting flogged and shit?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. I mean, I figured. But it's not all that.
Yeah, I haven't been to one of like the really big events, but it's usually like at a hotel. It's like a hotel takeover.
Right.
Yeah, and then there's like clubs for that sort of thing.
Oh, true. There's one in Catonsville, ain't there? What's that? Taboo?
Yeah.
It's called Taboo.
So yeah, like there's just and then so you meet people. So like you just meet, people and then get kind of in and find like your people. Like,
right. And that's what's interesting too, because like we were saying, there's no two alike. So it's like it's hard to even being in the lifestyle. It's hard to find your people.
Oh,
because it's so many people who are into whatever they're into.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah, that's incredible though. And then the jealousy, like how does that come into play these days? Now that you've been in it for a few years, like do you find yourself getting jealous? If so, when? When one of you does go out and do something solo, is it something that you guys want to hear about and talk about, or is it something that's just completely? Because I know you talked about like also respecting each other's individuality in it, which is like important and cool.
Yeah. So one thing I guess about this life, so there are people that just do the lifestyle like that, just with each other. They go to an event maybe once a month or maybe once a year, whatever it is, and that's just that. When you start to get kind of more into it, like the individuating part of it and like doing some things on your own, there's more work to be done. And what was the question?
I don't fucking know.
I know, right?
Wait, go back to the workshops. We never
way back.
I know, but I was just thinking we never talked about them. So they have like you can go places and they're not talking about. So there's like workshops you can go to.
There's all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So there's like,
and it's not just people fucking.
No,
because I thought it was like
no.
it's like, oh, we're going to this workshop where it's not like a.
Are you talking about like Costa Rica?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Costa Rica. So that's like. So,
yeah, what is that called? Like, what is that?
So she's running it kind of more as like a self-love program now, but
right. Yeah. That's what's so neat to me about it though, is like, that's the essence of it. It really isn't fucking other people.
And that's what I was saying. Like when you start getting more into it, like, yeah, it really comes down to the relationship with yourself.
Yeah. Which most people are just putting off onto their partner. Like whatever they have issues with themselves, it's their partner's fault. I'm mad at you. You did this wrong. And it's like,
they're looking to their partner to soothe that.
Yeah. Or that's a codependent level of, hey, I'm feeling this. You need to tell me something to make me feel better about it.
Or do something.
Yeah. So
the workshop, it basically, she marketed it as like open relating. So anyone like that's open relating. So it could be, you could go by yourself or with a partner.
And then those type of workshops though, because they're not specifically like, here's how you fuck other people, right? It's like anyone could go.
Anyone can
that's
go.
What's so cool. Like you put me onto that podcast that's like for polyamory.
Yeah.
You just mentioned it one time and I looked it up, and it's like it's not about polyamory. Yeah. It's about like relationships and real ones and ones that are talked about, and it's like they're dissected. You guys discuss these things, and I just feel like in monogamy it's so quick, it's so easy to not discuss them because there's these regular milestones, there's these regular, we know where we're at because we have the house or we're engaged or we have the
escalator.
The regular relationship escalator. And without that, I don't know. There's something to, I was telling my therapist that, I was dating a married woman, and it was like, it feels so nice to not have any unspoken or spoken expectations. Like it just feels so nice to not, because even if it's not said, it's like people are vying for you to pick them. There's this thing like, there's this idea, right, that everyone gets to pick one person, and because of that
you have to do all the things.
And it's like they want to be the one that you pick. I'm gonna pretend to do whatever I have to so you pick me. And I'm not saying I'm completely lying about who I am, right, but if I want you to really pick me, and I think that there's only one person you get to pick, I'm going to do whatever I have to keep you, So,
you're not being authentic.
You're not being authentic. Yeah. And it's like, it's like, even if it's not tangible, it's like, I could feel it. I could feel the difference,
And that's why, in these types of relationships, you can just be yourself.
Yeah.
We're not like just trying to get to the next thing.
Exactly. And then, okay, so... So then where does it go? So how does that look on long term, right? Because that's something that people ask. Okay, let's say your husband goes out and he meets somebody and he meets up with her and they hook up, they get intimate, they have sex, they whatever. She sucks his dick from the back, all the good shit, and and then they catch feelings, right? Yeah. And then not catch, because again, there's not something you're avoiding. Yeah. It's not a cold.
Yeah. I don't think we catch feelings. I think we choose.
Right. That makes sense.
I think.
Personally. I definitely think it's a choice. I think it's easier to make the choice with some people,
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's easier to make the choice with some people, but I think that it's both a choice and something that's organic,
Yeah.
But let's say that that person makes the choice to love that person, right? Like you said, and what's the problem? I get the question. I think that would come to mind is how does that end? She moves in with y'all. She ends up killing you guys. Like, how does it end? It's like people want to know. Do you guys just get sick of it? You guys go, okay, ready for the next thing? I mean,
how does it end? Well,
I asked you before we were recording, and you've told me more. I don't know your exact words, but who gives a fuck?
Yeah. I mean,
be present.
Yeah.
Your thing to me was just be present right now.
Yeah. Why do we have to think about?
You could die in a car accident tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. But like the whole like moving in, I mean, I guess that would be something like if that's what we're looking for,
right?
Then that would have to be
right, of course.
Yeah,
something super specific. Yeah.
Yeah, and if it's not what we're looking for, then that other person should know that.
Right.
Like, look, we're not looking for someone to move in.
And then that person, again, would have to be okay with that, and keeping things where they are and not wanting to steal your husband. So that's another thing, too. It's like, not everyone is evolved enough to do this, and not everyone has done the work. And there are crazy people. Or wants to. It's called work for a reason. Like, this shit is not fun, It's like, you really got to look at yourself, honestly.
Yeah.
But, damn, I forgot what I was going to say. It's gone.
Well, I was going to say, like, I think back to like being authentic and showing up in the relationships authentically. When you put it all out there to someone, like, this is what it is, this is exactly what I want, and this is what I'm looking for, then that person has the choice.
Yes, and it's easier to accept, right? When it's like, this is what it is, you take it or leave it. And another huge thing is like, to go back to like, I don't want my wife getting gangbanged at the bar down the street, because again, that's a real thing people say. It's like, and I get it. You have to like trust your partner's ability in discernment and choosing.
Yeah, I was gonna say like that's not usually gonna happen.
Right.
Like
it's not
people,
like people use that extreme example.
It's like if you guys come to this agreement together, like she's just not gonna go off.
No, in fact, I would argue that she's like less likely to because you guys specifically discussed it, and it's like, and what the nice thing about the openness is there's no real motivation to lie. Right?
Yeah.
Because it's not going to break you up. You're not going to be like, oh my God, you're thinking what?
Yeah.
It's like you guys have talked about the things and you know the potentials. But you have to trust that your partner's not going to bring in crazy.
You definitely have to trust.
You have to trust that your partner is going to pick someone who's not going to, you guys have to trust the way your partner's moving. So there's like so much trust involved.
Yeah, there really is.
And I do feel like it's a more fortified relationship at the end of the day than a monogamous one.
Yeah, because if everyone's being honest, like...
People want to fuck.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, that's not what you're going to say.
That's not what I was going to say.
But it is true. People want to fuck, and fucking's fun, and it feels good. And I will say that, like, people think that people think that, like, it's either long-term relationship, monogamous sex with connection, or surface-level shitty sex, right? I mean, that's a common thing. People think it's like, oh, I don't want shitty, cheap sex, right? That's the thing that people say when they talk about being open. And it's
like if you're not monogamous?
Yes, like
if you're having to
they're
be in
like,
the streets?
Yeah. It's like just people think that if it doesn't come along with this long-term relationship, that there's some cheapness to it. That it's this surface level thing, which is just
doesn't have to be.
No, not at all. And that's what's so interesting to me. It's like casual sex only in the way that there's no strings attached and you're not indebted to me for the rest of your fucking life. It's like casual sex in that there, you don't owe me anything. But again, there should be a connection, I mean, not for everybody, but it's like you can have very deep, meaningful sex with someone who you don't plan to marry,
Yeah,
I don't think people know that. And it's like, we're all going to be ugly someday. So we need to start fucking. We need to start fucking now. I'm just saying, when I'm 85 and my dick don't work,
it'll still work.
I'm 34, it barely works. When I'm 85, my dick don't work.
Guys' dicks work forever
because of the medicines.
Well, I don't know. They just work.
You fucked the 85-year-old Bridgette?
I haven't yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I just for a guy like me who I don't feel like I can personally at this time in my life like dedicate enough of my time and energy to fulfill one person by myself.
Yeah.
Because there's all this expectation of everything is on me.
Well, that just like feels suffocating.
It is that.
Yeah.
To me, it's a low key mental prison. Like it's just like it's always on my mind. I'm always feeling like I'm not doing enough. I'm not there enough. Even if the person's fine, the person's not even badgering me. I'm badgering myself. You know, which is something I'm in therapy about. Like I'm working on it. But the idea that like, yeah, there's just not the expectation. It's just it's nice to not have to feel like I'm not there. It's like, oh, that person's needs are being met, you know? And because it's like it's her job to fill those needs. However she chooses to. Same way it's my job to fill my needs, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people could take the pressure off themselves if they allowed it. Like
Right.
they could get behind that if they allowed it.
Get behind what?
Like that they don't have to fulfill.
Exactly. It's actually a common fallacy. Like that's not on
exactly.
you. It's really not on you. And it's not on me. You know, it's not on me to feel that.
Because I don't want to be everything.
Right. How could you?
Yeah,
it's what I'm
impossible.
saying. It's just too much to ask. You know, and again, it really does take like. I just can't stress enough. Like I'm not saying it's the more evolved perspective. It's not like it's linear where it's like monogamy's here and polygamy's here. It's like. However, because polyamory, sorry, because monogamy is just not discussed like that, right?
Yeah,
it's just it's just a norm. It's like, you know, it's the same thing as like I've been bitching about the nuclear family and houses and all that, and like wanting to live in a commune. It's like people buy a house because it's what everyone else did. They didn't go like, does this make the most sense for just one adult male and just one adult female to be in here? It's like, well, I don't know how to fix brakes, bitch. So you better start fucking a mechanic, you know? It's just like there's just too much I don't know how to do, you know? It's like, if I'm trying to make you squirt, call me. If we're like, you know, got to clean out the air ducts, I might not be the guy, you know? It does take a lot of pressure off, and again. It feels like the more authentic of the two. And not that there's anything, I don't want to sound like I'm demonizing monogamy. One thing that I am aware of that I do, like to call me out on my own shit, is like when I think about monogamy as a concept, I think about the bad ones.
Yeah.
I definitely in my head, because there's so many examples of like, oh, I'd hate to be like that. You know, like I clearly see this monogamous relationship and don't want that. You know, the people who are joking about like having to fuck their partner, you know, like, yeah, I guess I gotta give him some pussy now. It's been a couple weeks. It's like, oh, that's miserable. Or like the fact that you may never experience some sexual fantasy that you don't even know you have because it's so repressed.
Yeah.
It genuinely breaks my heart. Like it's not just me trying to get more pussy. You know, it's like that really does. It's sad to me.
You know, I've talked to people that are like older, like maybe in their 60s, 70s, and like they didn't explore their kinks until like their wife died.
Right.
Like, because they never could.
And now, you might die first, you know? She
right?
might die, you know?
And I'm just like, holy shit, you went your whole life just not even exploring that.
It makes me think of gay people who are married to a woman, you know? That happens constantly, and it's just like they don't feel comfortable enough because it just as much as like female sexuality is demonized, obviously homosexuality is still societally demonized. You know, it's like homophobia runs deep. It's bizarre. I mean, even I don't think I'm homophobic, right? But like seeing two guys gives me like an averse reaction as opposed to seeing two girls. What's the reason for that? Other than societal homophobia.
I kind of get turned on when I watch gay porn.
Guys or girls?
Well, both.
Really? Because that's what I'm saying. Like to me, gay porn girls is great. Gay porn guys gets me like feel weird. Yeah, kind of. But again, I don't think is that societal or is that wired in me? You know, I don't know.
I don't know
either.
But what you were saying about like monogamy and how you kind of, did you say demonize it? You said, or you looked at the bad?
Yes, I pick out the bad ones in my head.
Yeah. So non-monogamy will only feel like freeing to people who truly like don't feel monogamous. So people who truly feel like monogamous, like they're gonna feel fine, like in monogamy.
Right. That's it. So like, I don't.
Right.
It's like, again, I used to cheat, right? And it would break my heart to do. Like it genuinely, I did not like doing it, but it felt like something it was like an impulse that I wanted to do. It was a choice I made. It's not like I couldn't control myself, right? It's a choice I made, but it genuinely was like to people I loved, you know, I would, you know, lie. I feel the need to lie, right? Because I don't want to hurt that person.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's such a shitty excuse to lie to someone. Cause it's like, And again, I think that when people think about their partner stepping out, it's so easily equated with all those nasty feelings of betrayal and this deceit, which is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I even hear people being like, someone would be like, let me hit the weed pen. They'll hit the weed pen and be like, don't tell the wife, and it's just like, that's fine. but I don't know, man. To me, it's like, that's your one partner. I'm not saying they need to know everything, but to keep let's just say you do that for 5 years and then she finds out, oh, you've been smoking weed for 5 years and I didn't know. It just seems like you're almost living a lie. What else?
Yeah.
Because then you just go, well, what else? So it's just, to me, the brutal honesty.
But some people will say, like, just back to that, like, some people will say, like, oh, like, so you're saying, like, monogamy feels like you're trapped, and, like, they wouldn't agree with that.
Right.
And then, yeah, like, it only feels freeing to people who probably really aren't monogamous.
Right. And, well, you say people who aren't monogamous, like it's a character trait.
Like an orientation,
maybe. Yeah, is it?
I think that's kind of debated. I don't know.
I would disagree. Only because I feel like things are so fluid, and things can change. But I will say that every time I've been in a monogamous relationship, it felt like I'm putting a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this thing that does not feel natural to me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. And it's like, I'm, like I said, I'm in therapy. It's not like I'm walking around here not doing therapy or not looking at my own shit. I'm constantly dissecting my own shit and figuring my shit out. But it didn't feel right for me.
I feel like a lot of people that I've heard say that they're not monogamous have always sort of known it.
Right.
Like, deep down, always. Like,
yeah, there's there's that feeling in you that doesn't feel like it's right. Like something ain't right about it. Yeah. I just thought that was my lack of wanting to commit, right? But it's, what's funny is I don't even have a lack of commitment.
Yeah.
I have a lack of monogamous commitment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. The truth is I'm here. I'm not abandoning shit, Yeah. And will I step out, and be sexual? Yeah. But it's I'm still here. I'm not going nowhere, and I think that's been hard to portray. It's because people just assume if you're, then you're gone, you're going to leave. And it's the really evolved perspective is this extremely evolved is okay, well, if I'm married to somebody and they find somebody else and they love that person more, their true love is going, well, I want them to be with that person because it fits better.
Yeah.
I genuinely love them so much that even if I'm not included in their next phase, I want that for them, which is extremely difficult. Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine how difficult it would be. But to me, that would be the evolved perspective, right?
Yeah. So I've not had quite that feeling, but when jealousy has come up, thinking, oh, if he's on a date or with someone else. Yeah. It's just I can shift my perspective to someone else is getting to enjoy this person, him
who you love and who's great.
And that's amazing.
Right.
I don't want to just keep that for myself.
Exactly.
I want someone else to experience
for sure
his sweetness, his, just. Yeah. And that he's happy, that he's doing something for himself.
Absolutely.
And,
it's not happiness that's not involved in you.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Because again, there's a level of codependency there that can get unhealthy.
Oh, yeah.
Codependency is healthy in a relationship. You have to have some level of it. People think that just codependency is a naughty word, It's only when it becomes unhealthy. Where it's just always, to them. I think that that's beautiful. Like you said, getting someone else to experience them. And then I've heard of you can, that person, let's just say he goes out and he meets someone and they start, having feelings for each other. They're emotionally involved. It becomes not more than just more than a one-time thing. She can vicariously love you through him. Yeah. In a weird way, his love for you, if you guys are all that evolved, it's so easy to think about drama, that sounds like you're going to get some drama involved. It's you're messing with other people, you're doing this thing. It's when people are really that evolved, there's not real drama. It's there's everyone wants everyone to win. Everyone's again, there's really no lying or back talking or sneaking. That's another thing too. Imagine you're open and then you go on a date and you're just dragging your husband.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no,
this
yeah.
fucking loser.
That would be a red flag.
That's what I'm
on the other.
Exactly. For the guy, he should be like, yeah, get the fuck away from her. Because then again, it's like, it's all on the up and up. It's all like, you know, it's like my husband says hi, you know, or you ask about the husband, and it's like you have.
Not everyone operates like that.
Of course.
Though, like some people don't want to know anything.
Right. So for me, I have never been in an open relationship like you guys are, right? To where like this is my primary partner that I am married to that started monogamous, and then we open this thing up, and we've talked about like whether it's harder to start monogamous and go poly or start poly, go monogamous, and I just feel like
we just had this conversation again. My husband and I.
Oh, okay. And what did you guys say?
We think. No, you continue.
All right. So well, basically, I just feel like a lot of, and again, I haven't done a lot of thinking about it because I haven't had to, right? It's like, the idea, and again, to be extreme, it's like, okay, do you want to see someone fucking your wife in front of you, like better than you? And it's like the thought of that in my past monogamous relationships, I don't think I'd like that. You know, it's like that's obviously, right? That just doesn't sound like but I don't know, right? A, and B, I just feel like the fear in me, if I start poly with someone, polyamory, like we start in an open relationship, I think
like that's how it begins.
Yes, I think that it would be, maybe even not consciously, but harder for me to be fully vulnerable with the love, just in the fear that like this is super temporary because she's constantly meeting new people, you know, that I just think that I think that if we've built a foundation of monogamy, now it doesn't even have to be monogamy, as long as the foundation's built, really, you know, which is the connection I just made, because it's not necessarily the monogamous foundation. It's just a foundation to where like you have a husband, children, a house. You guys have a unit, you know, that has to feel safer. And not that it is. So
the argument would be there's more to lose, so it's scarier.
Right. Oh, right. Interesting.
Like there's more at risk.
Yes, but less chance that we'll both throw it all away too, you know?
Yeah.
In my head. So that's why I would think that or I have thought like the monogamous foundation, that way it's like I know that we have something that's super special that I don't think you're going to leave. Now we can go do stuff and have fun. Yada, yada. Like in my head, that would make more sense. But then again, like you said, like once you've had the monogamy, it's hard to then change it, because then you have to like rewrite all of it.
You have to
go back to the drawing board. Yeah, that's difficult. But beautiful. I mean, a lot of people just, you know, break up. You know what I mean? It's like, so to do anything to where you guys are like, let's try something that's out of the norm. I mean, I just have a lot of respect for it. And
some people do, like when they meet, they know that, you know, they're not monogamous, or that's how they met. And they do decide to take like a year or two for just them to build that foundation and then go back to it. So
exactly. Or again, you can build that foundation without the monogamy, just with really honest talks and boundaries and being like, okay, like, is this something? Because even like, I don't know, this sounds crazy. I haven't said this out loud, but like even a committing to like a year or 3, right? To where it's like, look, I don't necessarily need you forever, but can we sign up for like 3 years of this, just so I know that no matter what, you can't get stolen from me for X amount of time, you know, type of thing, which obviously you still could, but like in a weird way, just like a smaller term limit to the relationship, you know, where again, you can renew it.
Expiry date.
Yeah. Well, you can renew it on the expiry. You can renew it on that, you know, obviously, but like, I don't know. There's something, and again, this is my fear. I can hear my fear. It's all fear talking. That's all fear.
So like committing to like being non-monogamous for like a year.
Committing to be with me.
No. Yeah. See, I wouldn't agree to that.
Right.
Like, I don't think anyone should be like, I'm agreeing to this amount of time.
You're married, bitch. What are you talking about?
I guess I did agree
this literally till death. What are you talking about?
That's so funny that we were talking about that in Costa Rica. Hold on, time out. In Costa Rica, we were like laying there and we're like, forever? And like the forever was like hitting us like, forever
yeah, that's a big word.
It was like too much.
It's a big fucking word. It's the implications of that are they make me feel like I'm drowning.
Like forever.
That's why I mean smaller term limits. So that's not going from 0 to 3. It's going from forever to 3. You know,
I guess
it's a different perspective there. It's like, and again, that's just the fear. That would be the fear.
Would anyone do that? Would anyone be like,
people sign up for the rest of their lives?
Yeah, I know
I'm
that.
sure they'd sign up for 3 years.
Like, let's be together. I don't know if people.
Why wouldn't they though?
I think it's either
most people who get together, right?
We're dating and then forever.
Yes.
It goes from dating to forever.
Exactly. So all I'm introducing is a middle step where you go, hey, things are going really good. Let's commit to a year where it's like, you do what you want, I do what I want, but we're not going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
You call, I pick up, I call, you pick up.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it sounds crazy. Like I said, I haven't said it out loud before, but like, I think that would help the fear of just like, why am I going to dump this? Because one of the fears is like, why do I want to dump my energy and love into this person for them to leave? Why do I want to let them to get to know everything about me and hear every story just to leave? But really, it's like, that's not the right way of thinking about it, because it's like the connection during it, the living, the laughing, the learning. I hate the whole waste of time thing. Now, people have biological clocks and they want kids and stuff like that. Understandable. But like, I hate it when someone gets out of a relationship and is like, what a waste of time. It's like, didn't you learn anything?
Yeah.
I'm sure you laughed. I'm sure you loved. He might be a piece of shit, but I'm sure it was all right. You know, you see it a lot there. People are like, what a waste of time.
I can't think that any of my experiences have been a waste of time.
I mean, that's the best way that's how I feel. That's how we're here. That's how you made it. You know, it's what made you. But a lot of people do feel that. So I guess it would just be my fear. And then also, I guess, again, I could set it up exactly how I wanted it to, but it would also just feel crazy. Like in my head, like going out to the bar or going out somewhere with my woman and then just like having her taken by like a guy that's better than me. You know?
That night at the bar.
Yes, that's what I mean. Like, and again, I'd have to set up rules to where it's like, do not let somebody come over here and fucking big dog me, because it's like I'm not ready to, you know. There's definitely fears involved in it.
Can we talk about
please?
People like attempting this to fix their relationship?
Oh, please, yeah.
Like, oh, let's open it, or let's have a threesome, like, to fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's horrible idea. It's like having a baby to save the relationship. But what a genius idea. Let's bring a human life. You want to talk about selfish, right? Bringing a human life onto the planet to fix your fucking relationship that's toxic already.
It's going to be a temporary distraction, and then you're just going to...
And then like, also, or even like the women who, this is a little bit of a sidestep, but the women who like trick men into having a kid, or like, no, they don't want to. It's like, that's rude to the kid. Why bring in the kid to this world that the dad might not even really fuck with? He might resent that kid, you know? It's just like, they're not thinking. Yeah. People aren't thinking. But this won't save your relationship.
It's not going to fix shit.
No. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, one thing I did want to bring up is like, someone has brought up to me, like, someone I know is like kind of trying it, you know, has heard that I've been talking about it. I'm interested in learning about it and all this shit. And it's like a new way to think about things. Like, again, not right or wrong, not saying I'm 100% for it. I'm just like, hey, this is a cool way to think. And they're trying to do it because basically it's a female and her boyfriend steps out, right? That's what he does. And I'm like, that's what a lot of guys do, you know? Some guys are honest, some guys aren't. So they're trying the open thing, and the only difference is he's being honest, right? Yeah. Like the whole thing is like she would just catch him every month cheating, and it's like, well, just talk about it at this point. It's like, it's happening.
Tell me.
It's either just talk about it. But a lot of people can't handle that truth. I saw a great quote the other day that was like, you sharing yourself fully with your partner is respecting their ability to cope with reality. And I like that so much, because a lot of times I find myself lying because I don't think the person can cope with the reality, you know? Because people are so used to lying and hearing what they want. Not at all. To anyone. It's terrible. But what are we talking about?
Yeah, doing this to like fix a relationship.
Because
it will...
Oh, no. So listen, the feeling though. So, no, you go ahead. It will what?
Okay. It will shine a light on all the issues. Like, even if you think like everything is good, great, this is for fun, like things are going to come up.
Oh, that's right. So not only is it not going to fix your problems, it's going to make you have to go through them.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing about it. It's like, people think that, oh, we got to figure it out, right? We're just going to be open. No, this is the very beginning of your work. Like that's nothing. That's nothing, because like you said, it's going to just shine a light on your issues. Yeah. Why do you feel like that? What is that? Where's it coming from?
Why do I not like him looking at that ass?
Yes. Why? Exactly.
Now I have to like...
You have to genuinely go, what is the problem with that?
Yeah.
And it probably comes down to fear and insecurity and not feeling good enough. I feel like poly comes down to like just knowing you're the shit. Like a lot of self-confidence, right? Where it's like, good luck finding someone better, you know, type shit. It's like, I don't know. I really do feel like it comes down to a lot of like self-love, like you said.
Yeah. That's the basis, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it'll definitely point out all the bad stuff. But the person I was talking to had said that they're trying to do the open thing, and there's something like guttural in them when they even see him giving attention to another female. And that, you know, and it's not a bad thing, but it comes down to jealousy, possessiveness, and
I think we've
insecurity.
all probably felt that at some point in our lives.
Okay. How do you fix that?
Fix?
Because it's in your nervous system.
Yeah.
It's not even a conscious choice. That's what the person was saying to me. How do I stop that? It's not even like a choice I'm making. I feel it in my bones. And my thing was, well, what are you feeling? You know?
Yeah, so sometimes
What's the problem?
so sometimes you cannot logic yourself out of it.
Exactly.
Like you just can't.
Right.
And so you do need to regulate your nervous system, and you
Right.
need to have the tools to do that. And that's a whole nother topic too.
Right. And that's the thing where it's like it does help you get better at it though. As it goes on, it's easier to do it. And then that response that we get, it's like there's a huge difference. And I'm sure you've heard me say this before, you too, probably, because I say it a lot. But like there's been a difference for me, and it's been very helpful for me to differentiate between my gut intuition feeling that I should be trusting and a fear response that I should not be trusting because it's fear.
Oh, yeah.
You know, a trauma response based in fear, because they kind of feel like they come from the same place sometimes. You know, it's like, oh, that don't feel right. And is that my gut, or is that me trying to protect me from fear? You know, it's like,
I think we know if we take a little extra time.
For me, those signals were very similar at the beginning. It's like, for me, those signals are very similar because it's like your brain is wired to not want to feel that bad feeling. So when something comes in and threatens that, whatever that is, it is in your system. But I think it does get easier, you know? And once you start doing the work and figuring out where that's coming from.
And learning your patterns, recognizing what triggers that for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then again, discussing that with your partner.
Yeah.
And then it's like, one thing I wanted to talk about was like rejection, like on those apps and in the LS, people like, you get rejected, you know? And not everyone's going to want to fuck you, you know? It's like this weird thing where people take it personally in the regular dating world. If you say no or don't want to date, or you go out and have the experience, you can meet up with someone and go, hey, I don't want to go any further with this. At the beginning, it hurts, you know, but I've been able to take it less and less personal as time goes on.
Yeah.
It's like, not everyone's going to want to fuck me. I mean, most of them, the smart ones.
I felt that rejection. I mean, I've been like, it's disconnected, and that's like, what's wrong with me? Why'd you disconnect? Like, so it is rejection.
Right. It is rejection, but rejection is normal, and it's a part of life. And it's like that person, it's their life, right? If they don't choose to have you in it, that's their choice. It's like, it really comes down. And to me, it's like the difference between like the first time you feel that, it feels like a dragon burning you. And then it's like, as it keeps happening and you do the work, both, you start to have like a weapons to fight the dragon with, right? Now the dragon still shows up, like we say. That rejection is still there. That jealousy still shows up. But you can get the dragon quicker. You're less burnt. Sure. You're less burnt the fuck up. You're less singe coming out, you know?
Yeah, and it's okay to feel these things, you know? It's okay to feel it. Like, you don't have to...
run from that.
Yeah.
You don't have to soothe that even.
Yeah.
You can, like, sit in it and feel it.
Yeah.
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 That's heavy. Yeah, because people are always just trying to run from those feelings because they don't feel good. It's like, it is work, right?
Yeah.
Those feelings are not fun to sit in. But they're real, and they're valid, right? Yeah, that's another thing. People will think they're invalid. You know, they'll try it, and they'll go like, well, I just don't know why I can't be okay with this. Or like, why it's not. And it's like, their feelings are valid.
Yeah, so we do know people who have like been doing this for 20 years.
Right.
And they sometimes still
Are they weirdo freak trans people?
No.
Are they old leathery swingers?
Not answering that question. No, and sometimes, you know, you hear them say, like, they say to themselves, like, I've been doing this 20 years, like, why this should be easier by now.
Oh, wow.
Like, why am
the
I
work's
still not
still going on?
It never stops.
Because you know who the work's on?
Yeah.
You. It's like it's on yourself.
So it's not like just like you conquer all this and then you're better and everything's perfect. Like this is the
dragons
human,
never stop coming.
It's like the human experience.
This is the human experience.
Yeah.
And I would argue that in an evolved, I just find it to be a more honest human experience for me.
Yeah.
We're wired up biologically to like spread seed, you know? It's like, truthfully. And again, it doesn't mean you can just go fuck anything you want, you know? Or not, I mean, anyone can do whatever they want. I'm just saying, for me, it's not like I just need to go fuck everything. It's not like I'm some type of pervert. A lot of times when I hear a guy say like, I only have eyes for my wife, I throw up in my mouth a little bit. It's like, that's a sweet sentiment, but you're lying. It's either like you're lying. You have eyes, and you know, and that doesn't mean. Listen, because when I call people out on it, because I will, and they'll be like, "Well, I would never like step out on my wife. I don't even think about stuff like that." I'm like, I'm not saying you're gonna go fuck something else, but you can't tell me that bitch. Look at her. You can't tell me she's not hot. You know, it's just like it seems inauthentic to me. It's one thing to be sweet and respectful, it's another thing to just lie. And it's like I used to say this joke like, am I perverted or am I honest? Right? Because it's just I very fast. But it's like, to me, it's just like the only difference between me and the nice guy is I'm saying the things he's thinking. That's how I've always felt. Now I do get that not everyone's wired like me. You know?
Yeah.
You are. But not everyone's wired this way, and that's okay and acceptable. But for me, it felt dishonest to not even to just pretend the desire didn't exist. I'm not even saying to act on it, right? But to pretend the desire didn't exist felt like I didn't feel right with myself, right? Because it's like I'm lying about it. It's I'm lying.
They might not think they're lying though.
Right.
Like they've convinced themselves.
Yeah, and maybe they're not.
I don't know.
Again, everyone's not wired like me, but I'm definitely wired that way.
You know what else I love about this? Just embracing like sex positivity.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently heard that a woman she was with her husband for whatever 20 something years, and she's in her 50s and had never had an orgasm. Right. And it wasn't until they discovered E&M,
right.
And it took her taking the time to be by herself and like learning how to masturbate.
Yeah.
Like,
beautiful.
Yeah, right.
That's
so like a lot of people in this lifestyle really do embrace sex positivity.
Yes, and sex positivity goes further than, oh my gosh, somebody told me one time, like, I told you this story, but this guy was talking about how open-minded he was, right? He's like, yeah, but I let my girl have toys, like sex toys. He lets her, right? A, he lets her, and B, he's like, as long as they're not bigger than me, like bigger than my dick, which is like, it blows my mind how common it is. It really does blow my mind how common that is. It's like, do you guys not know how pussies work? Babies come out of there. I mean, I've put my fist in somebody, pulled it out, put my dick in them, and it felt great. I mean, great. Like as American as apple pie,
That wasn't me.
That was Mike. But my thing is, I just feel like, it's just so crazy to me that
you should be buying her the ones that are bigger.
That's what I'm saying. This way, so she can never have something bigger in her than you because what? It's gonna wear it out. Like, what are you talking about? It's not even.
No.
Science doesn't support your claims. It's the same people who think the girl who fucked 50 guys in 2 years has a loose pussy, and the girl who fucked her boyfriend 500 times in 2 years has a tighter pussy.
Makes no sense.
That's literally ass backwards. What are you guys talking about? You're just demonizing someone who's promiscuous. That's it. And it just seems like we should be past that, It's like we're
getting there.
We are. Slowly, one podcast at a time. But it's like, they're still being burnt at the stake damn near. And I don't know. I just feel bad for the people who are living that suppressed lifestyle. Some people don't know they can squirt until they're in their 50s or in their fucking whatever. And it's just like... And then sometimes the guys don't know, they're not watching porn, and then you still got people who think watching porn is cheating. There's a lot of people have a long way to go.
Yeah.
And then religion gets in there. Well, I guess some religions are the polygamy.
Polygamy, yeah.
The Mormons.
Yeah.
Which is fucking bizarre. You ever seen the Book of Mormon?
Yeah, I want to though.
You know about that?
I feel
with
like
the South Park guys.
Yeah.
That was funny. I seen it a while back. I want to go see it again, but I just. Did he say about the cheating and the STIs that like the guy who's cheating can't get caught with a condom? Did I say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah. What else? What else you got on there?
What else?
Or is this gotta turn into the casting couch? I think Najee said somebody said it was a casting couch vibes. Now this thumbnail is gonna be really casting couch vibes. Oh, if you're listening, by the way, this is a podcast. It's called "If This Doesn't Work, I Will Literally Kill Myself."
Literally, just added that in.
Yeah, that's ad shit. Really, it's "If This Doesn't Work," ellipsis. But it's however I'm feeling that day. If you don't go like and subscribe and tell your mom, I will actually start firebombing daycares. So, go like and subscribe. Subscribe on YouTube, please. We're all obviously on all the audio apps, but please also subscribe on YouTube. What else you got?
I don't know. I think we really...
Did we cover everything? What time are we at, Mike?
A little over an hour.
A little over an hour?
We're doing good.
You want to pull out a titty or something? I will.
That's for the other website.
Yeah, we'll make this a thumbnail. You should probably take a picture for it. But that's basically it. I just kind of wanted to come get you on here and have you talk about this because I'm really enamored by the whole thing. I find it very interesting. I thought there'd be a lot more dramatics involved. I thought there'd be a lot more bullshit involved, and I'm sure with some there are.
Yeah.
I've just been pleasantly surprised to learn about the situation and the LS. The apps are a little much, I'll be honest, but it's just interesting, if nothing else, to think about. Yeah, genuinely,
for sure.
like I'm not telling anyone to go start fucking. I'm like, genuinely, just make sure you're in something that you want to be in for your reasons.
If nothing else, just like open conversations for like different exploration.
Right.
Between
right. Maybe he's into pegging and can't say it.
Can't say it. Just
that's
talk
demonized
about it.
too because of societal,
Talk about it.
homophobia. Guys, straight heterosexual men who want stuff in their ass sometimes don't feel comfortable saying it because it's demonized, and it's like that's the same level of suppression that we're talking about and repression. So if nothing else, talk about it. Right, bring it up and be like, how crazy is this? This is why we would never do that. Have that conversation, At least you're having a conversation. Talk to each other, for God's sakes. I think that's about it for this one, huh?
I think so.
Yeah, thanks for checking it out. Share it, like it, subscribe it. I'll be back next week. And,
Thank you.
Thank you.